This is the host. Today's scary story is called The Sound of Silence, and it comes from a writer. The Sound of Silence. The camera slowly pushes into a dark apartment. We see a pair of feet propped up on a chair, a couch, a person, a man named Leo sitting alone. He wears headphones and intently watches a laptop screen. In front of him is an array of microphones pointing at a blank wall, which seems to be the only thing illuminated by a single light. On the screen, we see a wave pattern, one that seems to be showing us exactly what we're hearing: nothing. A voiceover from Leo begins. It's soothing and low. He explains how this is the sound of his apartment. It is the only place where he can be silent because the rest of his life is just so loud. Over the last year, he's become obsessed with pure sound, buying hundreds of microphones and building an elaborate setup to detect even the most minute sounds. He wanted to capture the silence, to bottle it and keep it, but he didn't expect this silence to speak to him. Back in his apartment, we see Leo walk away from the computer, leaving the silence to fill the room. Suddenly, there's a bang, a crash from the neighboring apartment. Leo jumps, startled. He hadn't heard it at all. This happens a few more times. There's a thud, then silence. He doesn't seem to notice. Leo walks over to the sink and turns on the faucet. It makes a loud, tinny sound. He quickly turns it off again. He's not listening to the sound of the water. He's listening for something else. The sound of people, of life. He goes back to the wall, grabs a different microphone, a shotgun mic pointed toward the floor. He sets it down, adjusting its angle. Next to it, another microphone rests on a foam pad. Back at the laptop, Leo scrolls through files labeled Day 1, Day 2, Day 3. Underneath each date are many subfolders of audio clips. He clicks one open and listens intently. All we can hear is his breathing and the hum of the refrigerator. Then he pauses the clip. From somewhere under the floor or behind the wall, a muffled voice reaches out to him, so quiet he could easily ignore it. He presses the clip again. This time, it's easier to hear. There's a knock and someone speaking, but their words are unintelligible. Flashbacks show us Leo arguing with his wife, Anna. Their voices overlap, yelling over each other until a door slams. We hear Anna's voice, raw with frustration, saying, "You're not listening to me, Leo. You never do. You only hear what you want to hear." Back in the present, Leo pulls up a new file and names it Day 4. He sets it to record. Hours pass. Leo sleeps, dreams, wakes up and remains focused on the sound of the floor. When he listens back, he hears the same muffled voices, now clearer than before. This continues for weeks, months. Soon, there are thousands of files, each one meticulously labeled with dates and times. One night, Leo hears the whispering voices having a full-blown conversation. He frantically scribbles down their words, drawing diagrams of their locations and relationships to each other. "She's getting closer. I can feel it." A cold dread washes over him. Their words cut to the core of his being. He feels as if they're watching him, studying him. The voices start to taunt him, reveling in his fear. They mock him for being too scared to confront them. "What are you gonna do, Leo? Come and find us?" In the middle of the night, Leo wakes up to the sound of scratching from behind the wall. He listens intently. The sound stops. He goes to investigate, knocking on the wall, but he hears nothing when he taps. There's only wood and drywall. He spends days listening, waiting for the scratching to happen again. When it does, he's ready. He pulls out a notepad and writes down everything he hears. The scratching continues for hours. By the next morning, his hand cramps up from writing. He looks at the pages and sees that he's written down a whole story. The voices told him a tale of two lovers separated by a wall. The girl missed her boyfriend, Leo, and she would scratch the wall to let him know she was thinking of him. She would tell him how much she missed him, how she couldn't wait to see him again. She would say his name over and over, and with each passing day, her love grew stronger. Each day, Leo would listen as the girl told him more about herself, about her hopes and dreams, about her fears and insecurities. The girl seemed to have no idea that Leo was listening. She would talk for hours, always unaware that someone was listening on the other side. For the first time since Anna died, Leo felt connected to someone who loved him. He found himself looking forward to the scratching, to hearing her voice. It gave him hope that maybe one day he could move on from Anna, that maybe one day he could love again. But then the tone of the conversations changed. The girl began to talk about her lover in the past tense. She would tell him stories about their first date, about their wedding day, about the birth of their child. And with each story, Leo felt a pang of sadness. He realized that the girl wasn't just talking about a lost love. She was talking about a lost life. She had lost her lover, her child, her family. The realization hit Leo hard. The scratching wasn't just a sign of affection. It was a sign of mourning. Then the scratching stopped completely. Days turned into weeks and Leo waited patiently for her to start scratching again. But it never happened. He would listen intently to the wall, but all he could hear was silence. The silence was deafening. It made him realize how truly alone he was. One day, as he sits by the wall, listening intently, he swears he hears the girl's voice. It's faint, almost inaudible, but he thinks he hears her say his name. He jumps up and rushes over to the laptop. He clicks on a random file and listens frantically. All he hears is static. Disappointed, he collapses onto the couch. Was it just his imagination? Had he been listening to nothing for so long that his mind had started to play tricks on him? But then he hears it again. This time it's clearer. He opens a new file and sets it to record. He lies on the floor, pressing his ear against the wall. He hears the voices again. He can make out every word. It's the same conversation from earlier. The girl is talking about how much she misses her lover, how she longs to be with him again. And then she says something that makes Leo's blood run cold. I know he's listening. I can feel him listening. Leo scrambles away from the wall. He looks around the room, his eyes wide with fear. Who else is listening? Who else can hear the girl's voice? He runs to the window and looks out into the darkness. Maybe the voice is coming from outside, but there's nothing out there. No one is listening. As he stands there, frozen with fear, he hears the voice again. He's listening. He's always listening. This time it's closer. It seems to be coming from right behind him. He whirls around to see a pair of eyes staring back at him, but there's no one there. He looks away and the eyes are still there. He turns back and the eyes follow him. He screams, but the voice cuts him off. He's here. He's always been here. Leo runs from the apartment, not knowing where he's going. He keeps running until he can't run anymore. He collapses on the sidewalk, gasping for breath. As he looks around, he realizes that he's not safe. He's never been safe. The voice is everywhere. It's in the buildings. It's in the streets. It's in the people. He's trapped forever. He tries to get away from the voice, but it follows him everywhere. He can't escape. He's doomed to wander the earth for the rest of his life, haunted by the voice and the eyes. And all the while, the voice keeps whispering in his ear. He's here. He's always been here. Now, did you see what I did there? What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. And I'll see you next time.